How are you all doing today? Praise and power. We are here on our regularly scheduled day of Saturday. We are starting a little bit behind, so mommy mercy and many thanks for all of your graciousness. We are attending a funeral today, and we are attending a funeral today, and so we had to get ready for that and everything in order to before we moved forward with the day. So put us a little bit behind, but we are still here. I want to say definitely shout out, much love to Miss April Johnson and Takia, and out to all of you guys' family, and just sending praise and comfort over to your family, over for your family. Praise to the Creator for all things wonderful and great, and comforting in those times that are not wonderful and great. Okay, I just wanted to get a little bit of that light out of us. The sunshine was like, I'm here. So I want to give definitely shout out to Miss Johnson, Miss Johnson and that family. I would like to also just give a shout out to all of you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your motion and the algorithm and your movement. I want to give a shout out to Mr. Curtis, who says he is now a harmonizer, who now exchanges with the moment. So I got to give some love and some shout out there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to all of you that are moment exchangers. It would not be what it is without the love and the support and the energy that goes back and forth from growing and becoming. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I have one more shout out before we got all up into it, and I'm trying to. Oh, so listen. On December 14th, which I'll be putting the flyer up on all my social media platforms soon, December the 14th, I will be a part of a poetry showcase, Voices to be Heard. I'm super excited about it. I'm going to be doing actually a number of pieces, and we'll be getting some tickets sold and everything. So definitely shout out to CDA, shout out to Spicy Brown, to NIMM Productions. Super duper excited. Your girl is back. The poet is back. Okay, I'm super excited to be back in my element. And to be back in one of my elements, okay, as a virtuous woman. But yes, praise and power to all. We are here at a moment of harmony. Here at a moment of harmony, this is what we do, right? We get all up into practical ways of growing and becoming, practical ways of enlightening and expanding ourselves, ways to get to our highest level of operation, navigate through the everyday craziness on top of going through our traumas and our history and our pains, and just picking up pieces to help rebuild ourselves into better, healthier, happier versions of ourselves, okay? Because we exist. It does exist for us. And we just come here with like-minded individuals where we can harness tools, practical tools that work in that way, where we can go ahead and get love and support to help us continue to move and fight the good fight, okay? Hop on the good foot and do the, what is hop on the good foot, do the bad thing? Hop on the good foot and do the good thing, okay? Do what's necessary for ourselves, our lives, our loved ones, and our enlightenment. So welcome, 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 and super duper excited that you are adding me to a part of your self-care routine. It is a super enormous honor that I greatly, greatly value. So we are in meiotic moments. We have been going through the 42 laws of Ma'at. We are at week number 20. We are at law number 20. We are on series number 20, or episode number 20 of this series. Peace, peace, peace. So we on next week, when we're on number 21, we'll be halfway through the 42 laws of Ma'at. Can you guys believe that we've been going through a series already? Peace and hello to all. Such a wonderful blessing. To be halfway through 42 laws. That means we've been doing really great work, really great introspection, really great. We've just been doing really good work on ourselves to get this far into becoming our better selves. Now, for those that are not familiar with Mayat, with Mayat, it is an ancient Kemetic spiritual practice. We are using these laws, or we are navigating these laws, we are harnessing these laws in an attempt to build our character, become better within ourselves, grow ourselves into better individuals. I always talk about how, as those of us that are seeking, those of us that are growing into and actively looking for better versions of ourselves, we often limit ourselves to what we eat, or what we watch, or what we wear, or what we do, and we don't always go in the who we are who we are, and how we can continue to be the better parts of ourselves. I often use the analogy of painting a house that's falling apart. Sometimes when we want to be better, when we want to attract better, when we want to create more for ourselves, and I don't necessarily mean more material or more friends or more of the outside. I mean more of the inside, more of the great, more of the intangible, more of the spiritual, more of what's necessary, more of what feeds your soul, and what feeds this life, right? So when I say more of that, a lot of times we don't go more inside. We don't do more of building and growing and nurturing that character. I love the meiotic principles for a number of reasons, but one major reason is for the character development, for the accountability, for the self awakening, for the responsibility of your greatness on your shoulders, and the joy of the responsibility of your greatness on your own shoulders. So when we go through the moments, go through this part, when we go through this particular series of moments, and we're in the meiotic moments, we are centered around our character. We will have better when we are better. When we do better, life will be better for us. So I just put up a Harmony original on Facebook that said, life does not improve for us, it improves with us. And just meaning that a lot of times we're always wanting something better. We're always saying, we want our marriages to be better, our relationships, our children, our finances, our stability. We want things to improve, but they don't just improve. As we get better, our lives get better, the quality of our lives get better, what we attract to ourselves comes to us. Even I was just thinking today, even like as you're growing up, life is going to be full of controversy or challenges. I'm not going to say necessarily controversy, but conflict and challenges, because the mission is to grow ourselves and to focus on ourselves and to better ourselves. So I even think about the problems when it comes to issues or bullies or villains in your life. When you improve your life, even that changes. Even the people that have discord with you are more, if you've noticed, they become more subtle, or they become, more disguised, as opposed to when you were younger and or when you were growing, how people would just kind of more blatantly, I guess, just anti whatever you had going on. But what I'm saying is that as we improve, even our challenges improve, even our lessons improve. I thank the Creator all the time for grace over my lessons, grace over my introspection, the things that I'm reflecting on, and just like, wow, I'm so glad that lesson didn't hurt that bad. I'm so glad that that didn't put me at rock bottom. Or thank you for showing me, gently nudging me, gently reminding me. You know what I'm saying? Because improvement happens with us. As we continue to grow ourselves, we grow everything connected to us. As we nurture ourselves, we nurture everything connected to us. As we expand ourselves, we expand everything connected to us. So definitely big shout out to all of you coming here to grow and better and expand yourselves with moi. Because listen, I am sharing, not preaching, okay, in these moments. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you again for your beautiful presence, for your greatness, for your energy, and for all that is a moment of harmony. And you all sharing moments with me. They are extremely important to me. So thank you. So in this 20th law, the 20th law that we are getting into today is, I have not been angry without reason. I have not been angry. I'm sorry, y'all. Taste my lip gloss when you start talking too much. Ugh. I have not been angry without reason. Okay, so we're gonna get into this one today, and I'm excited to get into this one today because some of you may know, okay, Aqua Gang, your girl is not super duper emotional, right? And I don't even want to say I'm not emotional. I definitely have emotions, deeply running emotions. I am an empath, I am a feeler. But what I'm saying is that I pride myself on emotional intelligence, emotional control, and emotional propriety. That's what I'll say. And so when I have a law like this that is greatly centered around an emotion, it makes me very excited for us to get into a dialogue and a discussion about it. Because I feel like if we all would get into more of a realistic place about what we feel, if we all would get into more of a vulnerable or open place, a place about why we feel the things we feel, we would operate differently in the ways that we feel. And we would operate differently in the way that we make others feel, which I feel is very important for us to grow and become our better selves. Like I always say, when we go through all the laws of Maya, there are a number of them, if not all of them, that have to do with how we treat one another, how we treat someone else. And how that grows us, how that strengthens us, how that changes us into better people, into more patient, more kind, more understanding, more evolving energies or individuals. So let's get into it today. I have not been angry without a reason. Let's go ahead and see what they're talking about with this. So the first point of us getting into I have not been angry without reason, the first point of this law, I believe, right, when I'm going through, and again, let me just preface really quick, I know I always do, but I'll preface these 2 points. First off, all of what I say comes from my 15 years of advocacy. It comes from my years post and pre those 15 years of advocacy, of just learning, sitting at the feet of wonderful and extraordinary scholars on Wally Moves, and going on a journey myself. And then through that rights, if you will, of being a part of the community, being a part of our growth and development, I have come to a place within myself where it's like I would love to continue to have these discussions and continue to grow in these ways with others. So again, everything that comes from me is a direct result of my learning, what I've learned, my journey from my scholars, my teachings, my studies, right? And I'm sharing them from my perspective. It is my great desire that all of us, that are growing with one another, learning with one another, expanding with one another, are just kind, patient, and righteous enough. That would be great. Righteous enough to be able, righteous, which would be righteous enough to be able to appreciate the right in each other. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking that you subscribe to what I believe in. I'm not asking that what I say be law. I am simply wanting to exchange my light, my lessons, and love with you that has been abundantly poured on me and abundantly offered to me in this life, and that we just respect the right of each other. Okay? Respect the righteousness in one another. Do your thing. Let's just go ahead and get to where we're trying to get to, which is to a higher vibration, which is to a higher level of operation as humanity, and definitely most importantly as divine individuals. So I have not been angry without reason. Now, I believe that the first part of this, law is a major focus on this. I have not been angry, because it didn't say I haven't been sad without reason. I haven't been silly without reason. I haven't been resentful without reason. It specifically uses the word and the emotion angry. And this is why I think angry is such a focus of this law, because anger is an alarm. Anger, when it comes to our emotions, negative vibrations are evaluators. Our negative emotions are evaluators. They are triggers for us to look closely and intentionally at a circumstance, a person, or a situation. Our negative emotions are evaluators. Positive emotions are elevators. They are like our negative, we could say our motivation. They move us towards action. They move us towards reflection or introspection. And then a motivator and an inspirer, right? So our positive emotions would be inspirational. They would be our inspirers. They move us towards doing great things and moving towards great things. So when we're looking at an emotion like anger, I want us to keep in mind of this breakdown. Negative emotions are evaluators. They are sent to us to trigger to us to look at something closely and carefully. Why is this bothering you? What is the problem? What needs to be solved? How does this need to be fixed? This is an evaluator. And then we have the elevators, which are our positive emotions, happiness, joy, ecstasy, faith, like positive emotions have us, they lift us to a higher state of operating and a higher state of being. If you think about when you're happy or when you fall in love, when you're excited about something, you almost literally can fly. You float. You practically float, right? Nothing can get in your way. The happier you are, the higher your day goes, the greater things that come to you. I mean, you literally have like a song in your heart. Positive emotions are elevators. They move us to higher thought. They move us to higher action. They allow us to see things, and they lift our perspective of the world, of our life, of our surroundings. Hence, things like optimism, rose colored glasses, all of these things. You are all, it makes, they put you in a higher state of being and give you a bird's eye view really on things. So you are a lot more positive, a lot more optimistic, because again, a positive emotion is an elevator. It will move you up. We are all grateful for the things that make us feel like we are unstoppable, right? Becoming a parent and having a positive emotion like pride makes you feel like you are, there's nothing you wouldn't do. There's nothing you can't do. Nonstop, unstoppable, ride till the wheels fall off. Elevators. We have these positive emotions that elevate. So again, a negative emotion is an evaluator. So we have our elevators and our evaluators. A negative emotion is a evaluator. Again, it is a trigger for us to stop and pay attention to something, to fix something, to work on something, to evaluate, analyze, and go experiment on something in your life, in your presence. If you have an emotion like anger, you're talking about an alarming emotion. This is an evaluator emotion that causes you to, that sends out a signal like urgent danger. So we already have evaluators that says, oh, this makes you feel a certain way. Stop and look at this. Work on this. Pay some attention to this. Seek some counsel around this. But then you have a very strong negative emotion like anger that becomes an alarm. And so it goes from look at this, pay attention to what's going on, to look at this now. Figure out what's happening with this trigger with you right away. So you have anger is an alarm. And when our ancestors have a law like, I have not been angry without reason, they are saying to us, we are not walking around on alarm all day long for no reason. We are not walking around in our lives easily triggered, easily angered, easily tripped for the smallest of things, right? For things that are not even maybe considered a problematic. Some problems require resolve. Every problem doesn't require drama. Every problem doesn't require anger. Every problem doesn't require an alarm. So when our ancestors are saying, I have not been angry without reason, it is causing us to really look at the things that are triggering us, moving us, and getting us to places of rage, resentment, frustration, aggression quickly, consistently, continuously. So I have anger is an alarm. So if you are walking around angry and you're harnessing, harboring, expressing, exuding anger at home, at work, in your thoughts, with yourself, in the quietness of your car or the quietness of your home, or you're just walking around on anger, our ancestors are saying this changes you. This is a deficit in your character. It's a deficit in your connector, which is your character, your connector to things in the way that they are, right? In your spiritual self. This becomes a situation where you're walking around on alarm. Anger is an alarm. For those individuals who have been made to or have chosen to take part in anger management, this is why these types of resources are available, because it is extremely depreciating and it is extremely dangerous for your spirit, for others, for your life to walk around on alarm. What it does to your nervous system, what it does to your mental, your faculties, your function, your operation. So it's almost as if many of us have alarms on our homes or alarms on our vehicles. It's like, and we all know the horrible sound of a car with the alarm on. In the middle of the night, and it's dee, 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 dee. You're just like, somebody please shut that car up. You get up, you check the car. If everything is okay, you cut the alarm off. No reason to be on alarm for no reason. This is what our ancestors are saying to ourselves. If you are walking around on alarm, you are creating a hazard for life. You are creating an unnecessary deterrent. So you have deterrents that will come in, meaning that a lot of us are angry because of things that have taken place in our lives, things that we're holding on to, ways that we don't ever want to feel again, being exploited, being violated, being attacked, being aggressed upon, being treated unfairly. And so you may be on alarm, but being an unnecessary deterrent, or having unnecessary deterrents, mean that even things that are to come to you, that should come to you, that are good for you, cannot come because you have up a major unnecessary deterrent of anger. So walking around with your peace, walking around with your alarm on, is just like driving or walking around in anger. It's like being in a car where the alarm never goes off. You go to the store, you go to work, you go home, you drive to visit friends and neighbors, but everywhere you go is dee 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 dee. No one would even want you to come and visit them. No one would want to be parked near you. No one wants to be in the same grocery store parking lot as you with your alarm on all the time. Unnecessary deterrent. Our anger, that type of emotion, is an alarming emotion. And thank you so much, Prudence. And our ancestors are saying, I have not been angry without a reason. I have not just kept the alarm on for no reason. I have not just allowed it. Woo, 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 woo. Imagine trying to work like that. Imagine trying to be in your home and watch TV with the alarm system going off. Imagine, with our children being in school and the fire alarm going off while nothing is wrong, no fire, but the alarm is just going off while they're trying to learn. This is what anger does to our lives. This is what anger does to our reality. This is what anger does to all of our systems: reproductive system, immune system, nervous system. This is what anger does to us. It puts us on a constant state of edge, and it puts us in a space away from self. We can't focus. We are distracted. We are defensive. We are in military mode every day, all day, with those that we say we love the most, including self, with those that we say are closest to us, including self. So when our ancestors put up a law that says, or create a law, so divinely create a law that says, I have not been angry without a reason, they are saying, I'm not walking around here on alarm. Just the alarm, the anger is, I'm boiled up and it's over the edge, or it's subtle and it's buried, but it's coming out in the things that I say and the things that I do and the things that I attract. So why do some of us get stuck with this anger alarm? Why are some of us, and we know it, like we know people, everyone here, if it's not something that you're working through yourself, you know someone who just seems to be angry all the time, seems to be negative all the time, glass half empty, and probably kind of frozen, and there's a fly in the glass of water. You know what I'm saying? Like, just unhappy. You can't ask them anything. You can't talk about anything. You can barely work with them, or you can barely connect with them or bond with them if they're in your family. And it's like, well, why? Why are we struggling with this? Because some of us may not even have it on a regular basis, like an anger problem. Some people do. Some of us really just need to learn, or we really are working to harness the ability to grow and nurture the ability to not be moved and driven and what is it, I guess, controlled, to not be ruled by such emotions as alarming as anger. So why are we, some of us, having this hard time? Why are the way the times, or have you seen people, like, just the way young people are makes them angry. They talk about politics, they're so angry. They talk about sports, so everybody's so mad. We're angry, right? And a lot of it is coming from, one, exhaustion, a lack of spiritual motivation or inspiration, a lack of ability to go in and grow out. Go in and grow out. A lot of us are stuck in the external. And that's a horrible place for a spirit to be, first off. Horrible, horrible, horrible place for you to spiritually be is stuck in the is to be stuck in the external, when all of your growth and your nourishment and nurturing happens internally. The spirit begins to suffer stuck on the outside. So this is a place that we all, excuse me, have been, can be, probably are stuck in when it comes to being ruled by alarming, alerting emotions like anger. You can very easily and probably, or most likely, are stuck in bargaining with base emotions. This is where many of us fall short in being able to be in control of how we feel and being able to appropriately express our feelings and our emotions, is that we are stuck in base emotions, and we bargain base emotions in life. Okay. Well, how do we do that? Okay. Base emotions: happy, sad, good, bad. These are like the first emotions that I think we learn in like preschool, like toddlers, right? Two, one, two, and three. How do you like that? Good. How are you okay? How do you feel? Happy. How do you feel? Sad. Is that you like those shoes? No, it's bad. You like this? You know what I'm saying? These are like the base emotions. These are like the start of a understanding how to assign feelings to things that you're experiencing, how to relate to things emotionally. So we have these base emotions: happy, sad, good, bad. And then as we grow up and we become adults, life in all of its complexities, all of its challenges, as it's intended to do and be, all of its conflicts, all of its ups and downs, begin to are supposed to begin to evolve us and expand us, not only in how we express and experience emotions, but really also expand us away from a primary operation in emotion. And this is what I mean by away from a primary operation. What I mean is that we begin to expand into things like logic, understanding, practicality. We begin to move away from emotions being the primary way that we experience everything. We begin to be appropriate with emotions, use them or have them, utilize them when necessary and how they're supposed to be used. Well, here's the thing. If you have a great deal of trauma unhealed, if you have a great deal of pain unhealed, unworked through, unrecognized, unassisted, then you can very easily get stuck in operating in base emotions. Again, remember I said when we grow up, we evolve out of base emotions and we expand into things like practicality, understanding. So if we don't ever expand, which is we don't take the necessary courses, we don't go through the necessary rites, you begin to be stuck in a base emotion operation system that you don't even realize that you're stuck in. And then you become a full grown adult expected to function in maturity but still using the tools of basic emotion. So, and then what we start to do in order to better understand how we relate to the things of our lives or how we feel about the things of our lives, and we began to bargain with life with these base emotions. Okay? So remember these base emotions. Remember I said happy, sad, good, bad. This is what we do as adults. We go into work. This is life. We go to work, we go to a career, or we're entrepreneurs, whatever it is our life path is. We go into how we make our money and we bargain with it with a base emotion. So we'll say, does this job make me happy? Does this job make me sad? Is this a good job or a bad job? You see what I'm saying? We go into a relationship, a marriage, a union, a connection, and we'll bargain with it with base emotions. Does this relationship make me happy? Does it make me sad? Is it a good relationship? Is it a bad relationship? We do the same thing, so on and so forth, with our health, with our children, with our connections, with our relationships, with our houses, with our resources, with our materials, with our dreams. We'll be full grown. And we're looking at everything from these base emotional operations. Is this a good day or a bad day? Instead of saying, is my job productive? Is my job lucrative? Right? These are the expansions that we're talking about as we begin to maturize. We become parents and we're not looking at our children as making us happy or sad or good children or bad children. Are we raising them? Are we moving consistently and effectively and efficiently from childhood to adolescence to adulthood? As we grow and expand, we'll expand our measure of life. Many of us are walking around in a great deal of anger because we have not expanded self and therefore not expanded the measure. This is something I've been greatly working on, the measure of love. And oh my God, am I being tested in it? But I'm working on the measure. I want to greatly, I believe and I know that there is an expansion to the experience of love far greater than the human experience thus far, or the human experience that I've had been privy to. I believe that there is a measure of love far proceeds or succeeds, that's what I'm saying, succeeds what our expectations or our lessons or our understandings are right now. And I think that about life, period. I think that about our expressions of emotions. I think that about our knowledge of self. I think that about our knowledge of life, patience. You know, I think that about most things that have to do anything that goes on between the human and spiritual experience, as above so below. Physical being, a spirit having a physical experience. So if I am a spirit having a physical experience, there must be much happening in between these two experiences. Looking at spirit and physical like a Venn diagram. There are things that I operate in spiritually and things that I'm operating in physically, but there is me in the middle. in this Venn diagram that means that there's these unlimited possibilities of operation. This is in our growth, this is in our expansion, this is in our becoming. Okay, many of us are stuck battling in an alarming state of anger. We're mad at the world. We're mad and disappointed at the way that things are. We're sickened, we're disgusted, we're appalled. These are words that you can hear a lot when we're thinking about life. When we sit and discuss life with others at the water cooler, at the baseball game, and the grocery store line. I am just over it. I can't tell you. I've heard my sister say sometimes like life is ghetto. A lot of us are feeling very overwhelmed, burdened, trapped, which is building to a higher operation of anger, resentment, frustration. And we're feeling that and we're thriving in that. And that is becoming a primary driving force for our behaviors because, again, we are bargaining with life with base emotions instead of expanding in life with heightened operation, understanding, being. It is okay to feel a way. It is okay to feel a thing. But feeling and being are two different things. We learned that in evolution. We learned that in expansion and maturization, right? We learn that I can feel like not going to work without not going to work. Okay? I can feel like leaving a conversation without leaving a conversation. I can feel like giving up on something without giving up on something. This is the expansion. And this is what a lot of us are struggling with when the emotion is the operating force. The immaturity, the pain, the frustration, the low vibration operation when the feeling is running. We are stuck bargaining with life. Well, if I have a good job, I'll be a good employee. If I have a good husband, I'll be a good wife. Or if I have a good wife, I'll be a good husband. If I have good children, if I have happy children, I'll be a happy parent. If I have a sad paycheck, I'll be a sad person. We're bargaining with life with base emotions. And our ancestors say, I have not been angry without reason. I am not stuck in an emotion that's not moving me forward, that's not expanding my life, and not even being in reciprocity or exchange with life beneficially or lucratively. So without reason, okay? So we know that we've discussed here that anger is an alarm, all right? This is why our ancestors are saying we're not just walking around living like this. We're not just walking around on the edge. We're not just walking around ready to go. Don't push me. I'm close to the edge. We're not just walking around mad at the way children treated us when we were children, mad at the things that we don't have, mad at the things that we lost. We're not just walking around in that type of energy. Because walking around mad today for something that happened yesterday or when you were 10, it's not a good enough reason to be on alarm today. Then we also talked about just being stuck with emotions as the driver of your operation, appropriately using emotions the way they were intended to, which brings us to our next point. Like, okay, how do we appropriately use emotions? What do you mean by appropriately using emotions for the way that we were intended to use them? When we operate, while our ancestors are asking us to appropriately operate within such an emotion like anger, because it doesn't say I have not been angry. Our ancestors didn't say that. They didn't say I have not been angry at all. It says I have not been angry without reason. which means that I have not misappropriated my anger. I have not misaligned with the purpose of anger, which means there are reasons to be angry. There is a purpose to it. But if you are out of alignment, this is our emotions. There are reasons for them. They have functions, both negative and positive. But if we are not mature and we haven't expanded ourselves to be able to accurately see this, then we become misappropriately driven by these emotions. And in this specific and particular law, anger. Anger acts as a means for survival. This is what I'll say. We were, shout out to CRP. We were in Delaware not too long ago. We were doing a grief circle, and we were talking about just the overpowering emotions that we feel. You know, grief, anger, frustration, these types of things. And the question was posed as, you know, and I'm paraphrasing, but the question was somewhere posed like, do women feel emotions or acknowledge emotions or deal with emotions better or differently than men? Okay, this was my answer. When we talk about nature and survival and the way that things are set up, because things are always set up for a reason, when we talk about the way things are set up. Now, again, we're in the context of today. Today we have computers and cars and homes, and you know, you have machines that do work for us and things that do things for us. But the way we were built and designed dictates a survival of life, period. Okay, so however life evolves once we begin to survive that life doesn't dictate that we were put here to operate a certain way. And this is what I'm saying. In nature, when we're talking about before all the evolution of technology and architecture and all of these things, women have a obvious function, because I know people gonna get hot today, child, when we get into the roles. Women have an obvious function of nurturing, caring for life, and bringing forth life. Okay, we obviously have eggs that receive sperm that creates an entire embryo that grows a whole person inside of our body, that we then have to deliver this baby, then our body feeds this baby, and then we have to grow and nurture this baby. We obviously have a design for growth and nurturing. Anything that grows and nurture things, like they say, Mother Nature. Why is Mother Nature? We're talking about the earth that goes through seasons: winter, summer, spring, and fall, right? Hot, cold, warm, abundant, dry, all seasons. Anything that is going to be growing something through seasons needs to be extremely patient, extremely gentle, extremely intuitive, because you have to be able to nurture every season. You have to be able to pick up on things early. You have to be. So you're talking about the characteristics of a nurturer. Okay? I'm not saying men are void of these characteristics. I'm talking simply nature and design. Okay? Now, when you get into a man and his build, his design, I have two big boys. One is 6 feet, one is 6'3". My 6'3" son is 18 years old. He's huge. His feet are huge. His hands, I was showing him the other day, because I have him changing like my light fixtures and things like this. I don't even try. Okay. I just like change that, fix that. And he just laughs at me like, Mom, I'm not even gonna try, because look at your hands. That's what I was telling him. His hand is like 5 times my hand. I'm your mom. I was here 20 years before you. I have grown you. I have loved you. I have cared for you. But look at you and the size of you, and tell me what you were naturally intended to do and be in this life. And then look at me and my build and my makeup, and tell me what I was naturally intended to do and be. Okay? Saying all of that to say, if women were the nurturers of the children in the home, and we are built to create life and sustain life, the men are the protectors and the providers of life. Okay, can we all just agree? Not saying again that a woman cannot protect or provide for herself. I'm talking nature and how things go down in the most efficient way. Now, if men are the protectors, okay, I think I might be back. Okay, I think I might be back. Okay, I think I might be back. Woo, Jawu. Okay, so please forgive that. So a call came in and then it went to voicemail, and that was strange. That never happened before. I will tell you that in the past it has gone out anytime someone has called me, but it has never like blacked out for that long, and it never has like waited for a voicemail to go through to put me back on. So on my end of things, everything was frozen, blocked, no movement, no motion, and I'm just like being back in business. So I don't know all that happened on you guys' end, but thank you so much for your patience. That was a little strange. No worries. Where I was going was, if men are the protectors and the providers, right? I want you to think about the nature and the mindset of someone whose intention is to protect and provide. So if someone is going out, we're not talking about right now when you can just go to the grocery store and put groceries in a cart, but we're talking about nature and the evolution of things. We're talking about the intention. So if you're talking about a man who would have to go out into the world to kill an animal, or a man that would build a house himself, not with a construction company, build a house himself, some type of shelter to secure his family. If you're talking about a man that may have to fight the elements to find resources, so he's often out in harsh elements, hiding out, not becoming prey himself, but also being able to provide resources or sit and start a fire, or just thinking about all that would have to go on with someone whose primary job is to protect and provide for themselves and their families. The nature of that individual, we would probably hope that this person has a great deal of endurance. They are very keen, skeptical, right? They have to always be on defense or alert, because they cannot be sleeping and get killed, make a wrong decision, not be appropriately building some type of shelter that would then come down or hurt their family. So you're talking about someone who probably has a really high stress level and who operates in a great deal of judgment, measure, and not measuring off their feelings and emotions, not measuring off not necessarily their intuition, but measuring off of logic, what is being seen. Mind you, this is a person that would build things. This is not who doesn't have an automobile, or who would go long journeys or voyages on cattle and on a horse. This is someone who needs to be able to survive in elements harsh, who needs to be able to gather and collect, calculate, create, move. This is probably a very logical, very measuring, very what you see in the physical realm type of person. Probably not a person that's going to break down when they're afraid, that can talk about their fears, that can cry when they're hungry. Because if you're out and you are on a 30-day voyage, you can't be out there crying because you're hungry or you're cold. Like, you better go on and kill something, make something, break something, bring something home, right? So you're talking about in tune with feelings, in tune with emotions. We're talking about the nature of things, right? This is probably not that type. You're probably talking about a very militant, a very strong, a very enduring, individual, and the mindset that comes with being that type of person and having that type of role. So we have a way that we were naturally built. We have a way that we were naturally designed and that we operate. Now, let's take us into modern times where no one is having to go out and build shelter for their family to sleep and then break it down and move it again in different terrains and protect their family from being eaten or murdered by animals and things like that. We come into modern times, we still have those types of dynamics within us, right? The patience and the nurturing for the family and the children does still primarily come easily from the feminine component or the feminine energy. The ability to endure the hardships, to make things better, to do the protecting. Primarily, listen, people gonna get mad because of the times. I'm just okay. It is what it is. The other day, there's a gentleman that lives in my neighborhood. He's huge. He's kind of scary in like behavior and the way he moves. But he's weird. That's what makes it scary. He's very strange. But we've had some instances with him at the house that were like not safe, not cool. Asking my daughter certain things or things like that. And we confronted the situation, and we were told that this individual with special needs, that even though he looks like a grown man and he's huge, and he obviously is a man, he's special needs, and some of the things he's saying and doing, we shouldn't be alarmed about. It still doesn't keep us from being a little creeped out because of some of the things he said, right, to my 15-year-old daughter or to my 5-year-old daughter. And we just still feel like, everybody watch out, okay? Be on guard. The other day, I normally try to avoid this individual, eye contact, everything, because it is a vibe, guys. It really is a vibe. It's not even just that this individual is size, or it's not even like I'm just judging this person. There's really a vibe there, okay? So I normally just try to like get to my car, get back, be kind, don't do a lot of. The other day I was going to my car, and I could feel this individual just, next door neighbor sitting on his porch, and I could feel him like staring. So I just felt so rude. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, dang, Harmonie, are you being like, don't be judgy up in here. Shit light. Everybody needs light. No matter, you don't know what that man's going through. So I just speak. I literally just go like, good morning. And I'm keep it moving. Immediately he starts talking to me. I can't understand everything he's saying, but he's saying something about get in my car. Can he come with me? Do I want him to come with me? It was like weird, right? And he's like, you want me to come with you? He starts talking really fast. And I go like, shucks, this is what you get. You should have just... So, but my 18-year-old is in the house, which is why I even spoke in the first place, because I knew like with the vibe I was getting, nothing was really going to go down. You know what I'm saying? So my 18-year-old is in the house. He's on his way out to the car. He's taking his time like teenagers do. So I yelled to him. I go like something dumb. I said something like, hey, Wiz, you got that thing? Or did you grab that thing? Or something. And Wiz was like, what? What, Mom? He's 18. He got this super deep voice and everything now. And immediately, the guy, he can't see my son because my son's coming out the house. He can see me getting in the car. And he keeps talking to me, keeps talking. But as soon as my son says, what, Mom? He stops talking to me. Looks down to the floor, actually. He stops talking to me. He looks down at the ground. He immediately is like, I don't want no smoke. And my son comes out, and we get in the car, and I tell him as we're pulling off, like, I didn't really want nothing. What happened? But all he had to do was hear my son's voice. And like they said that he doesn't know what's going on. Brother man knew what was going on that day. He wasn't that, you know what I'm saying? So, but that's what I'm saying. There is an energy with the reality of our makeup. There's an energy with the realities of our makeup. Okay? Those of us that are in a survival mode, I want you to know that survival pulls you away from sanity. That is the intention of it. If you are in survival mode, you are not operating within the sanest parts of your being. And this is what I mean by the roles of each other's. Peace, my love. This is what I mean by the roles of each other, right? The nurturing, patient, gentle being that produces a life from the size of a poppy seed to a full-blown and grown child or individual, that patience It's not the same individual that needs to be out in the trenches, in the elements, enduring beasts and harshness of you. That type of energy. You're not going out gentle and kind and nurturing and intuitive and feeling. Okay, you go out into that if you want to, like, oh, I don't want to kill the animal that's coming at me because I don't want to hurt the animal. You're gone. What I'm saying is that we are appropriated with the energies we need for our roles and our survival. That individual that is out in the elements, that is out in the harshness, that is out in a certain reality, is in survival mode. Soldiers, police officers, firefighters, those young men are out, doing the best thing they can to thug it out, okay, and survive. These individuals are in a survival mode. If you are sane, you probably can't just kill anything or something. If you're sane, you're probably not going to sit out when you're in a harsh endure, right? Enduring things in a sane mindset is like a little oxymoronic. If you are in a sane mindset, you're probably not going to suspect the worst or be prepared for the worst in your sanity. It is when you get into worry or fear, flight or fight, that you kind of are able to survive craziness, like attacks and harshness. So this is what I mean by survival pulls you away from sanity. It is also what I mean by survival being necessary. Hence our ancestors using anger. I have not been angry without reason. There is a time and a place for anger. Okay, if you are being attacked, if you need to be on some type of defense or alarm, if you need to be against, if your back is up against the wall and for some reason you need to be protective or expressive about that which is dear to you, a time and a place. But understanding that operating in that emotion is pulling you away from your sanity and the sacredness and the quietness and the centeredness and the stillness of self. Our ancestors are saying, don't get pulled away from the sacredness, the centeredness, and the stillness of self for no reason. If you are going to be pulled away from it, it better be a really good reason. Have a reason for insanity, is what I'm saying. Have a reason. A lot of times when you see like on movies and things, and there's individuals that are like about to go into a fight or like boxing or about to go to war, like Rocky, or you'll see people beat their chest first, smack their face, hoorah, work themselves up to go crazy, right? I'm crazy, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know I'm silly, but I've seen all the movies, cartoons, all that stuff, right? And people like have to work themselves up to be like, I'll kill anything and everybody. YouTube guidelines, ain't nobody killing nobody, calm down. But people going into that state of rage, that state of barbarism, that state of savagery. You gotta, like, most times people are getting all worked up for that. It takes a level of survival to get to that. You're surviving. You about to walk into something, walking into a burning building, walking into a fight. This is not sanity, okay? Walking into you will have a mother that would take their child out of a lion's den, out of the den of a gorilla, out of a shark's mouth. We'll do it. Parents will do it. But you're not in a sane place when you do something like that. So our ancestors are saying it's okay to go on and break out of the sanity in self if you need to, if you must, if the circumstance or the situation requires you to do that. But if it does not, if you do not have a good reason for insanity and you just walking around on one, you're just walking around ready to go, You're just walking. This is why people say, don't start, not won't be nothing. These are people that this is talking about. Like, I would prefer to stay in the peace of self that I am in. But if you come for me and I haven't sent for you, then I have to now come to the place that you are and get with it. Okay? Or people again saying, I don't want no smoke. Smoke is a symbol of a problem. This is why people say, send a smoke signal. This is a problem. I have not been angry without reason means that I am not creating a problem, walk around in a problem when there is no need for a problem. Sometimes resolve is at order. Sometimes communication is the prescription. Sometimes revision is the answer. Sometimes reflection or quietness or space or understanding is the resolve. But if anger is your only resort, anger is your primary resort for life, for the problems of life, for the altercations of life, for the conflicts of life, for the challenges of life, you are walking around in a problematic state for no reason. You are finding anger instead of an answer. And our ancestors are saying, why are we like this? Why would we be like this? Why would we walk around looking for anger instead of answers? Or why would we operate in anger and not answers? Why are we seeking revenge and not answers? Why are we seeking division and not collectiveness or cohesiveness? Why are we seeking problems instead of solutions? Our ancestors saying, I have not been angry without reason. Thank you both so much. I have not been angry without reason. I'm not just sitting up on here on one because my childhood was away, or because my marriage was away, or because my life is away right now, because I'm in a season right now, because I'm in a thing right now. I am only going into survival mode when I need to survive. Life is not attacking me. That's what I want you guys to know. You're walking around armed and dangerous with your words, with your thoughts, with your actions. Armed and dangerous, and life is not attacking you. What if I told you that through all this hardship in your life, all this ruckus in your life, all this chaos in your life, it's not life attacking you, but you attacking life? Because you are not yet expanding yourself enough to see life thoroughly, authentically, and maturely. Survival pulls you away from your sanity. Our ancestors say, don't walk around insane for no reason. Have peace when you can. Have peace when peace will do. Have peace when peace is necessary. Have peace in chaos. There's this poem that I love from way back in the day. As a matter of fact, I was a kid, so I don't even know the author. But he has a line when he says, they're fighting fire with fire. They're fighting fire with fire. I say we fight fire with water for our sons and our daughters. I'll never forget that line. I think about that line actually when I want to go toe to toe. Just like, yeah, I'm fighting fire with fire. Let's fight fire with water. Okay? Our ancestors are saying, I have not been angry without reason. I am not resentful. I am not holding on what was intended for me to let go of. I'm not holding on to what was intended for me to grow through. I am not using as a crutch or a compass what was intended to develop me and be left behind. I have not been angry without reason. I love you all. Thank you so much for joining me for another moment of harmony. I look forward to another moment with you next week. Go on and take really good care of yourself and go out your way to take really good care of someone else this beautiful sunshiny weekend. I love you all. I'm grateful for you all. Thank you for my newcomers. Thank you for those that have always been there, those that are always faithful. It all means so very much to me. I pray that everything that the Creator gives me means so very much to you, and love and light to you all. I'll see you next week for another moment of harmony.